Hello everyone, welcome to one of my Simi chats. Simone here, and today I am sharing with you about the cumulative effect of 2021, the year that has been, how that impacts us and what we can do about it. So some of you might be finding you're coming towards the end of the year and feeling quite tired or even exhausted, or just like you don't have a lot of fuel left in the tank. For some of you, you might have felt quite anxious or overwhelmed. For others, you might feel underwhelmed and a little bit flat. And a lot of this is to do with the year that we have just had. So if you're new to watching this, I do weekly or every week or second week these Simi chats, which are usually just sound bites that I do as an audio recording. Today I'm doing a video because I'm on holiday down here near the Able Tasman, and I thought I'd just make a quick little video which is easiest for me to share with you. But do subscribe to my blog, Simone Deni Wellness, if you want to hear these little updates that you can listen to on the run, and I share insights, coaching tips, all kinds of things. Oh, looks like my my video is about to blow out the window. So let's talk about this idea of the cumulative effect of things. So I often talk about the positive effect of cumulative action, cumulative habits, cumulative behaviours. And what I mean from that is these tiny little actions that you take every day, and how if we consistently practice them, we get to see change in our behaviour. We get to experience growth. And when we first start out, we stay in a fairly flat line. We don't see big results. For example, if you start out with a meditation practice, at the beginning it's just frustrating, our mind is busy, we're not really seeing the benefits. And maybe over a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, you start to see these improvements. And over a year, you'll really start to see this curve come up. And you'll see the same with exercising. If you do it consistently, it doesn't even have to be for long, but doing it every day in a consistent way, you'll start to see the results. There's lots of examples where we see this cumulative effect, which kind of pays off over time. And I'm a really big campaigner of these small, consistent actions rather than these kind of overnight successes that a lot of us think if we do this one thing, everything will change overnight. It very, very rarely happens like that. It's more about the slow and steady winning the race. But today I really want to speak about the opposite side of that, the flip side of us taking this consistent, intentional behavior. And sometimes if we flip it on its head, we have certain external events or circumstances that create changes in our own behavior and emotions that have a cumulative effect over time. So if you look at something like stress, it might not be that one first stressful event that causes us to feel overwhelmed or anxious. It's more the cumulative effect of that happening over time. And really what I see is that this time in 2021 and 2020, we've had a lot of cumulative stress and worry and uncertainty that can add up over time. So this can be one of the reasons why we're really feeling the weight of the year that's been. So some of those things might not seem very significant, the events in themselves, but if we add them to all the other events that have been happening, they can really add up, and we kind of carry them like a weight. It's like a residual that goes on top of each other, kind of builds up like a plaque. You need to get that dental hygienist in there to actually get rid of it, because it does build up. So if we look at things that might have happened to you in this past year, so there's been a huge amount of negative news coming your way. There's been a lot of fear about what could happen to us, about our health, about the risks that we have with COVID, and this is coming to us all the time. There's so much in the news or conversations with others, and that does create a weight within us. There's also the ongoing tax of trying to juggle everything under these restrictive ways. So that's whether that's working from home with kids, doing homeschooling, all of these things. Each day is not too overwhelming and big, though it can be. It's really how the effect of that happens over time, day in, day out. It can be the cumulative effect of having our expectations not met, where we thought we were going to have this holiday, or we thought we were going to meet a friend, or we thought we were going to have a family member come and meet us, or we could be together, and those hopes are dashed. And again, on top of everything else, pile upon pile, we start to build up these feelings within us that cause us to not feel as resilient as we normally do. We don't have the same buffer that we did when we've got a really full tank and we haven't had the last 2 years piling up for us. So really what I'm saying is it's been a lot, and really be compassionate to yourself for all that you've been carrying, even though you might not be able to pinpoint one big thing. Altogether, this really adds up to a lot. I know for myself, I've really felt the effects of the last year kind of hit me towards the end of the year. It's felt like kind of there's been a little brick by brick by brick added while I've been kind of living life, and then there's suddenly this big brick wall that you kind of walk into and go, wow, I'm hitting a wall here. This has been a lot. So really what I want to share with you here is like, what do we do about that when we're reaching this point and we're maybe feeling a bit worried about what's happening in 2022. So here's some things that I would share with you just to help reduce this cumulative effect going into a new year and start to build some resilience again. So one of the things I encourage you is to really listen to what your body is asking you to do. If you are feeling exhausted, instead of overriding that with, I have to keep working, I have to stay busy, I have to look after everybody else, I have to be an overachiever, really honoring yourself and going, yeah, I need to rest. This is actually a great time of year to rest. A lot of people are resting right now. Have that daytime nap. Allow yourself just to stop and to replenish and recalibrate for the year that's coming. So that first one is really honoring yourself. Next one is to really dial down the amount that you tune into the negative news. Any news, it's usually trying to get us to feel afraid and worried. So if you have to watch the news, create some boundaries around how much time you spend on there, because that can really pull our energy and it can play on our mind, and it keeps replaying often after we have read or watched something in that space. The same with speaking about COVID and vaccinations and mandates and government, just trying to put some kind of boundary around that, because again, that can really weigh us down from an emotional perspective and a resilience perspective. So trying to limit the amount of time you talk about COVID. I know that is so hard for so many of us. I would also recommend just finding a way to actually process the year that has been. I highly recommend you download my end of year review, just to review your year. It looks at all the good things, the bad things, the things you want to let go of, the things you want to maybe take into 2022. So that link is in my bio, or I'll share the link below for that. It's a really good way to process what has been. I'd also say, don't dismiss how you're feeling. A lot of us feel a bit guilty for acknowledging that we're not maybe coping as well as we normally do, but that is also, not honouring how we're feeling. We often say, but those people over there are also dealing with that, so that's so much harder for them. I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't feel like this, or that country is doing it so much worse than us and they're doing it worse. It really is about just you honouring what you're feeling and acknowledging it, and that can really help us to process through, and it can help others around us as well. So those are my tips for really helping you to reduce this cumulative effect. I would also really recommend creating some kind of daily ritual that you can connect back to yourself, giving yourself that space to just feel more aligned, because we do need to create tools that give us that resilience, that create more of a buffer between the stimulus and the response. Some of us might feel there's not much of a buffer, so doing things like a meditation practice, moving your body, getting your heart rate up, journaling, breathing exercises, chanting, all of these things can really, really help us come in and calm down our nervous system. If some of you have done my course, the Rituals course, there's some good practices in there. Or just do whatever it is that feels good for you. Move towards the things that give you more energy. Move towards people who give you more energy and joy, and just be a bit more conscious about where you're choosing to put your attention. So, and that is probably my little update for today. I've gone a little bit longer than normal, but just wanting you to have a really beautiful start to 2022, And I look forward to seeing you hopefully in my blog or online, wherever it is. And always reach out and just share with me where you're at the moment. I always love to hear what's happening for you, what are you feeling, what would be helpful to you that I could share with you in the year ahead. So happy New Year, and thanks for being here.